It's Olas, everybody. I don't think many of you have ever seen my face live or something. Probably none of you haven't. Well, not none of you. Maybe half to 3/4, I don't know. But, because I don't really know how many people watch my channel. You know what? I'm not even going to put a number on it, because I don't even really know. But yeah, if you haven't seen me live before, live, then hello. So, oh yeah, by the way, pardon the game in the background. I've got sports going for sound purposes, but plus it sounds better not to have just me talking, as great as my voice may be. As great as it may be. But anyway, let me get to the larger point of this video. You know, I said in the video I just sent out that it's very important to never really, I guess, take for granted what you have. And, you know, I think that's important to understand for everybody. You know, I think about, you know, my situation. Sorry for being a little bit quiet. I don't mean to be. I really don't. You know, I think, and the reason this kind of just popped into my mind, I guess, is because these past few months for me have been maybe the roughest I've ever had. Even when I was at I went to a different school last year, and it was tough. And I thought that was hard. But, you know, in this year, there's been a variety of different things that have happened this year. I don't want to get into all of them, but, for example, I moved to a completely new state this year, and that's been stressful. And, you know, that's part of the reason I'm making this video. Not completely. There are other reasons as well that are also important. But particularly about that, you know, I never really thought about how, I guess, lucky I was to have the environment I had there in my old city. The people I knew, the people I interacted with, just the city itself. I didn't even think about, you know, how lucky I was to be in such a fantastic place with fantastic people I developed relationships with for a very, very long time. And I think that we don't always, really remember and stay positive about what we got. Because as soon as we moved, you know, that was a big thing for me. I don't ever remember. I moved to that city when I was like 5 or 6 years old. I was young. I don't remember it, but my point is I never have remembered moving before. And I think about it, and, you know, I just, that's part of the thing, I really, sometimes, not intentionally per se, not like I intentionally took this for granted, but I sometimes didn't always appreciate how I was able to interact with these people, every so often as friends at school for, you know, daily almost. And, you know, y'all know, you know, Captain, sorry, Captain Ryan, my friend from, my city, we're IRL people, but, or in person, not in real life. This is all real life. It's all real life. But, I knew him, and this isn't particularly about him, because, I still interact with him, pretty often. But with my friends that I had there that I haven't even interacted with them at all. And not because I don't want to, but, I guess just the fact that, well, no, actually, that's not true. I haven't not interacted with them at all. I have texted them a couple times about stuff, but I haven't, done anything with them because I couldn't. I didn't live in the same city as them, so I think, I think I sometimes took for granted how I developed such good friendships with those people. I'll be honest, I'm not your typical guy. I'm not the one who's gonna, go be a football jock or something. I'm not gonna be one rushing to go, you know, I don't really know. I'm not a typical guy. And, these people I met, you know, they were, they weren't those kind of people. And I guess I never really considered, geez, these people are like, uh, they were different, and they weren't, typical in the sense that I wouldn't ever fit in with them. You know, I was able to, fit in with them fine. They didn't find me as weird or, you know, not weird, but, not in the norm. They just, treated me as a cool person. And that's great. Um, and, I think back on those relationships, and I think about just, how important it is to remember that stuff. And just to remember how good you have it until it's all gone. That's kind of the theme of the video. You never know. It's a popular phrase, but, you know, um, you never know what you have until it's gone. And for various reasons, that's been the case, particularly in that regard with friends, city, just leaving an environment where I was comfortable, where I wasn't, I didn't have to, start fresh. I had people around me, and it was, easy. But, being an introvert, being in a completely different city, it's hard to, meet new people easily. I've met new people, and they've actually turned out to be pretty cool. I met them in my neighborhood, and they're some pretty cool people. Um, but, they're never going to be like, you know, what I had with, well, I shouldn't say never, but, it's going to be very hard to find what I had. And, whoops, let's get this straight. So I just, I'd say remember what you have very, very specifically. Because you may think, life sucks, and you know what? It may suck a whole lot, but you gotta try to think positive as much as you can. You gotta hold out hope. You gotta hold out hope that, what? Maybe things won't always be as bad as they are now. And you also gotta realize that, because that's a little bit off from what I was trying to say, but it's also very important. But you also got to remember that, you got to cherish every moment you have with either the person, the friend, best friend, if you happen to be in a relationship, the relationship friend, the situation, the city, just those kinds of things. And remembering how important it is to cherish every second of your time in that moment and to never let it go away from you. Because things can change in a heartbeat. And for me, it did. In many different ways. It's just, you think about how important it is to cherish those people. And I wish I had really, looking back, I wish I really recognized how important they were to me. And, so, it's tough. You gotta be able to, you just have to be able to just, don't ever think you don't have it well. I mean, maybe you don't. Maybe that's true. Maybe you just don't have it well, but you still gotta love what you have as much as you can. You gotta love what you have. Because if you can't love what you have and you don't appreciate it, then, it'll suck, If you show appreciation, if you show, just never take something for granted, because it can go away so fast. It'll be like, whoa, that's gone? What do you mean it's gone? I've had this for my whole life. What are we talking about? I've been in this situation. And then, 1 second later, something happens or a decision's made, and, everything changes. Everything changes. And, that's part of the reason this past 3 months in that regard has been really tough. And, it's tough not to be with people that you cared about. It's tough not to be with people, just people you care about. Whether it's well, I just shifted that whole, whoops, okay. But, what was I saying? Something about caring. Yeah. You gotta be sure that you can care about, the situations of what you're given. You gotta care about the people in your life, because if you don't care about them and they go away and you never appreciated them, or you didn't really, maybe not take appreciation, but you never realized, how things can change so easily. You didn't always think about it that way. It's important too, because you have to realize that, I've said this a couple times already, but it's true. Things can change in a heartbeat. And, that's part of the reason, well, there's a couple reasons. I'm homeschooled, first of all, which originally it was in Dallas. That was a little bit better, but now we're here. I mean, I guess it still works because we're moving, but that's beyond the point. That's not the important part. I was kind of getting a little bit behind in the school, for a couple reasons. One, the school did something horrible where they pushed back all your due dates 2 weeks before the day you were doing them or something. It was ridiculous. I didn't like it. It sucked. It messed up my entire year. But, also, not having the important people in my life, not, feeling just like